The Bruins will try to close out the series with the Maple Leafs tonight, and Linus Ullmark says that if Jeremy Swayman is in net, he won't be a crybaby about it. Interesting, though, this morning, during They Said It, Scheim took that as a shot at Jeremy Swayman.
Like, this isn't something that you just say off the cuff. Like, this is something clearly that has been an issue prior, and to me that indicates that last year I bet Swayman was unhappy with the fact that Linus Ullmark was full-time in net in the playoffs, so Ullmark is throwing shade at Jeremy Swayman.
My God, you guys, you're trying to make something out of nothing.
No,
He's talking about being a crybaby.
You guys, who can't? I say crybaby all the time.
Yeah, but you say it directly at somebody or about somebody.
No,
you don't just pull it out of thin air.
No, I would say I'm not going to be a crybaby.
But why would you even say that?
I think that you guys want them to not like each other so badly.
You want to believe the hug is something. It's not.
Yeah,
I want to believe everything that I've been told and everything that I've seen on and off the ice between these two, spending holidays together and everything in between. That's why I think that there is no issue. You guys, we are up 3-1 in the series, and all we're going to talk about is, well, there's got to be some trouble in paradise when you have two amazing goalies on the team.
They tried to trade
give me a break.
No,
you guys are just a bunch of pessimists.
No. Courtney, when you follow celebrities, right?
You don't need to make it a celebrity thing, Curtis. Let's keep it with sports. You guys want to talk sports all the time. I just think that it's
I'm trying to make the point. I'm not pointing. I wasn't using that as some way to denigrate your sports knowledge. I'm saying when it comes to relationships.
Yeah.
Okay, not messing with sports. Whatever the relationship, whatever the field. When there is this overcompensation of people saying how well people get along, it's usually a tell that they're trying to make something that's difficult look like it's all going in the right direction.
And I don't think that there's an overcompensation. I think that these two are asked about it 24/7. We have Sophia on. We ask her about it. We have Razor on. We ask him about it. We are constantly asking about their relationship. That's why it's being talked about.
Then why couldn't he just say, I'm here for my guy?
Right.
Why did he have to specifically mention, I'm not going to show up
because
like a
he probably heard
crybaby?
All of us say how passive he is whenever he's asked about it.
Yeah, but nobody has ever called him a crybaby.
No, I'm confused. I'm confused now. Do we want Linus Ullmark to be the goldfish and be passive about the whole situation and not care whether or not he's in goal? Or do we want him to take the Swayman approach and want to tell everybody that he wants to be in goal? Because when Swayman did that, we were all praising him, saying that's who we want. So if I'm Linus Ullmark, I hear that. All right, then I'm going to change my mentality the way that I speak to media.
But this isn't him saying that he wants to be in net. This is him saying, I'm not going to show up to work like a sulky crybaby. That's what it is. Like, that has nothing to do with him playing in net.
Don't you always tell us that listen to what people say, whether it's Travis, whether it's Taylor, how they talk about each other. And
but Wiggy, like the majority, I got to tell you and Scheim, the majority of the texters are suggesting that Courtney's right. They don't hear anything in that.
Well, then they probably have what you have. They have the Greg air hair wax. Because when a guy says, he literally, what was the beginning part of it? He goes,
I'm trying to be professional.
No, but even before that, he goes, I'm upset.
It's hard to hear the audio. Is that just me with my ear thing?
No, yeah. No, it's locker room audio.
You can play it again if you want. Yeah. Play it again for Wiggy.
How's this been for you, watching Jeremy now get multiple starts in a row?
It's been a lot of fun. We're up 3-1 in the series. It's always going to be harder and harder for every game that goes by. Stay true to ourselves and still enjoying the moment.
Is it something for you? You kind of known that both of you guys are playing well. That something like this could be the way that it went. You just try to keep the right perspective on it.
Definitely. There's the reason why I'm here today, and it's not being a sulky little crybaby about not playing or anything like that. I try to stay professional, supporting the guys throughout the team or throughout the period here. Go out there every practice, trying to be better, try to push people in the way that I can, obviously, and try to bring that energy and try to do whatever I can when I'm off the side as much as I try to do when I'm in the.
And even more so, he was asked once, gave a very, supportive answer, and then was asked a follow-up to try to get more out of him. But
what's wrong for them to be like? I don't get. See, this is what's confusing to me for all the Linus and Swayman people. What is wrong for them to be competitive people and want to be the guy? Like, why do they have to dislike each other because they both want to be the guy?
I just think that they're in support of each other.
Right, but
I'm sure they
even
both
though-
want to be
even
the
though
guy.
if
There's
there's
no issue with that. But
Right,
I
but
think
that's
you
the-
guys are
but-
trying. You're taking it another
No.
step further, saying that they actually have issues with each other.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying they might support each other, but they both want to be the goalie. They both want to
Okay,
be
but
the
do you
guy.
agree that now that there's an issue between Swayman and Ullmark?
No, I think what there is
So you don't think that there's an issue?
there's an issue on them both wanting to be the number one goalie and be the starter every game.
I mean, a texter says it is at the most passive aggressive. Is it like a passive aggressive statement that he's making?
Sure. I just think that there's clearly something wrong. Like in this relationship, in this situation for them, it's the whole reason they probably tried to deal Linus Ullmark at the deadline in the first place.
If you
like,
could
this is not him being like Swayman. Hey, I just want to be out there every single minute of every single game.
It's a big example, Greg, of actions versus words. The actions of the organization suggest they were happy to say goodbye to Linus Ullmark. The actions of the head coach in the playoffs has been, Jeremy Swayman is our guy, and what you're hearing from Linus Ullmark is the reigning Vezina winner on the bench saying, I'm not going to bitch like my friend did last year.
Yeah.
I'm here to answer your questions.
The reason I'm at practice is because I'm going to be a team player and I'm going to be professional about it.
And he said it is hard. But if you would ask both of them separately in a room, you know how I love reality shows and they always have the confessional booth? If you were to say, hey, Linus, do you want to be the starter every single game? I'm going to bet you he says yes, the same with Swayman.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I think the issue is. Both of these guys, they might be in support, but you don't think they go in their own mind like, oh, I would have made that save.
Yeah.
I'm playing good. Why is Montgomery not starting me?
You guys are like, oh, we can't make a big deal out of the Jays anymore. They seem to be getting along. Let's go to Swayman and Ullmark.
Yeah, but one guy in that situation knows his role and took the back seat.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown. Right?
And I
He
think
know-
Ullmark is very supportive of Swayman being out there.
That doesn't sound supportive.
And Swayman was very supportive of the one game Ullmark got. And if we
I mean,
move
also,
forward,
it's easier to take the back seat when you get the max deal for $380 million or whatever it is.
Saying I'm going to show up and try to be professional isn't really being supportive.
And the other,
And I'm sure if Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown passive-aggressively referred to the other as a crybaby, we wouldn't talk about it.
he wasn't referring to the other as a crybaby. He was referring to himself. I'm not going to be a crybaby.
When he
Yes,
was-
because clearly someone else had showed up and been a crybaby.
That is not clearly to me. I get.
Also, a texter is suggesting that the reason that Scheim likes the term crybaby is because that's what he is called often by those who are beating him up.
I haven't been beat up like ever since I was like a kid.
Just a little slap across the face.
but
Well, yeah, no,
or
not
the,
that I
or the bottom.
I'm talking about times I haven't asked for it, Greg.
but isn't there two things that he says?
Call me a crybaby right now.
Hit me harder.
Get that yodel out of my face.
Shove that pinky in my mouth.
Oh, God, save that.
Aren't there two things that he says that have us scratching our head? One is the crybaby, and the other one's being professional.
I want you to aggressively milk me right now.
Oh!
That's not accurate.
I've got nipples. Can you milk me, Todd?
No, I was saying there are two things when somebody says being a crybaby or being professional, like why do you need to say either one of those two? We know that you're a professional. So when you say I'm trying to be professional,
Yeah,
and I'm
think
not
you're-
trying to be a crybaby.
You've been saying this for a long time. I think you're coming at it as you should, because that's what you are. But you're coming at it from the former professional athlete point of view.
Yeah.
That he must be pissed that he's not getting the starts, and so you're projecting that onto him, which is creating something that I don't necessarily agree with Scheim and Curtis on, and you, which is that there's a real issue between the two of them. I think Courtney is.
I think there's a real issue when it comes to which one believes they should be in net every night. You don't believe that? You don't believe one of those guys thinks that they're better than the other?
I absolutely think they're both better than each other.
Right. So
Okay,
that's-
but the record doesn't show that when it comes to at least this series. Jeremy Swayman is the better goaltender against the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I totally agree.
Does Linus Ullmark, does he not get that? I mean,
But do you think Linus goes, oh, Swayman's better than me?
no.
Right. So that's the point I'm getting at. They, as a former professional athlete and anybody in general, people always believe I can do better than
that person. This is Joe the Trash Man. Hey, Joe.
Courtney is 100% correct, all right? This is typical sports radio crap which Simon Caruth is trying to pull right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's something out of nothing, all right? He's asked the question all the time. How's he supposed to respond? Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, it's very simple, Joe the Trash Man. It's you respond with, "Yeah, I'm here to support my guy," instead of saying, "Yeah, I'm not going to show up. I'm going to try and be professional and not show up like a sulky crybaby." You don't bring that up unless somebody prior has shown up like a sulky crybaby.
So he's not going to use the shine robot response. Use his own words, but then you're going to pull this, right? He's being a crybaby.
Every patriot in history has used the robot response.
3 games to 1, Shine. Stop pulling the crap.
Yes, good for you. You're up 3 games to 1. What happened last year when you were up 3 games to 1? You lost. So don't lose this time. Don't let infighting or anything like that ruin anything, and win. And if you win, nobody cares. Nobody cares about anything as long as you win. But all of us are on the are hesitant and anxious and filled with anxiety because last year you were in this spot and you screwed it up. The Bruins have lost 4 straight games when trying to close out a series. Okay, so let's win tonight, and then who cares? Then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It might be a language barrier thing. Several texters are suggesting on the Subaru of the language barrier. It's a language barrier.
Montgomery, talk about effing up the church's money. Montgomery then effed up the church's money because this whole goalie rotation, and Courtney, I agreed with you in the beginning. If you are going to do it, stick to it. But the fact that he didn't stick to it after, what was that, game 3 into game 4, now he's in a position where you have to play Swayman tonight. And if Swayman wins, and we talked about this with Razor, you can't stop Linus in game 1 against Florida.
So
I think you can.
This is actually an interesting point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So by going into this and talking like you were going to stick with the rotation,
right,
you've offended Linus Ullmark.
You did something. Yeah. You offended him in the sense like, well, wait a second, we're supposed to be in a rotation. Now, when it was my turn to stop.
Why didn't I get game 4?
Right. Now, and then Swayman wins and he plays well. So he's not getting game 5. And I asked the question, if Swayman wins a series for you, how do you start the next guy in the next series and sit the guy who just helped you get there? You don't think that's going to affect Swayman's feelings? So what does Montgomery do now? He has to start Swayman in game 1.
He better start Swayman tonight, and he better start Swayman the whole way.
Right, but I'm just saying, if they win tonight and they get to game 1, and I know I'm thinking ahead, you have to start Swayman in game 1 against Florida, and then if he wins, then now you go back to Linus?